way it goes.
Yes. Hello.
My therapist told me that I should tell you the truth.
Me, large camera.
But you're still angry.
There we go.
So sometimes I feel like I still should have lied. I tell you the truth because
Yo,
but I also lied.
we are so back.
But if I tell you the truth, I guess I can.
Where did I send in that?
It looks like I don't care because I'm telling you the truth.
Must have been on something else.
I guess I'm just not a. Everybody hates when they get to that part when they realize that. I don't want to tell you I don't care, but if it seems like I don't care, it
Maybe I messaged him?
looks like I don't care. Because my emotions have been sanded off.
No, it was on LinkedIn.
I live in LA, sweetie. What do you expect?
That's right. Yes, okay. Cool. First thing we're going to do today is I am going to nominate my friend for a South Australian Game Award. Boink. Hell yeah. And I haven't taken my medication. I'm gonna go do that before I forget. It's a whole thing. BRB. Alrighty. So, my lovely friend Ewan, who runs Hellbite Studio, I'm going to be nominating him for this Rising Star Award. Yep. Rising Star. Ewan win. Fuck. Win Jones, that's right. Listen a few paragraphs. Okay. Reaver. I put Geralt on. Itchlol. Hell yeah, you did. I'm glad. It's really good. We'll play it on stream at some point. Here's the director of Hellbite Studios. Not going to. Cool. Ooh. Oh. Dillo, that's so cool. I'm not surprised, mate. You really deserve it. Cool. Now that that's done, yeah, I'm going to keep going with this. Cool. Mechanics. Level. That's right, I was just going to add Dan to this project. Cool. Mechanics. Movement. Actually, let's do this as a major thing. Movement system. Merging behavior. Squash and stretch lattice behavior. Cool. It's tempting to do a little bit of work on yeah, let's just list out as many mechanics as we can think of. Destructible environment, pellets, pressure plates, starting from anywhere. Be able to change scale, player scale in runtime for debug. Be able to move anywhere in debug. It's basically debug controls. We've also got like teleporting, respawning, cube, normal, cube, sticky, rect, normal, rect, sticky maybe. Square, normal, and square, sticky. Actually, these are. Actually, let's get rid of these. I feel like that's a good start. This is highest. Respawning. Debug controls highest. It's low. It's high. Everything else is kind of in between. So, plan game. Hell yeah. Let's do this actually in lists. Set up game project and yeah, set up game project. Alrighty, so design patterns. Let's get rid of all this. And then in cube, let's merge this into main. Cool. So what is in cube right now? We've got block placing system, movement rework, and cube, the original. I know I did that. Old. Hell yeah. That is going to have changed a bunch of file names. added old to old project. Cool. This is very exciting. Cube. Finally making new project. Unity 6 LTS Universal. Project name Cube. Location. Cube. I don't need Unity Cloud. It's with the R&D department. Yes, I think that's all we need. Great project. Into taskbar. So exciting. Unity 6, Unity 6. And while that's booting, yeah, we'll leave the rest of that for now. That will take a while to cook, but I can also get this ready. Created cube project. New Unity 6 project. That is the game. Woo! That was pretty quick. Hell yeah. Beautiful stuff. Huh. That's cool. Huh. Beautiful. Great. And then let's also bring in the packages that we'll need. We will actually know. So, we need probably, no, I'll leave that for now. Interesting. We'll check this out in a second. Oh, that's new. Hell yeah. That's awesome. Input system, we've got, great, we do need Cinemachine as well. Beautiful. Mathematics we have, which we need. There's a new AI thing. Huh. Wow. That's very cool. Polybrush I don't think we need. We're not installing ProBuilder, fuck you. Splines is already in. Timeline is already in, good. URP. Visual scripting. Big on. Look, ProBuilder's fine. It's just, it has a couple kinks that I really dislike. In that, when you make a prefab that has a mesh on it, that's ProBuilder, it's always going to have like unsaved changes just because of the way that the ProBuilder meshes work. They're all like unique objects. And so you can't really like, it just messes with my feng shui. It's less clean than just making your own meshes, which isn't that hard. Especially for a game that's about cubes. Beautiful. And that is all. I think... That might be useful. I might just yoink this in just because. We don't need it yet, but it's good to have it from the start, I guess. Hell yeah. And then one of mine that I want. What is this? I don't need that. We do want lattice. Beautiful. And we also need surge. Beautiful. Can I put this in here? No. Um, I Fine, fine. Beautiful. So what do we get? We got brought in surge. We brought in lattice. Character controller. Yo, come on in. What? I'm live.
Hi, friends.
How you doing?
Hi, friends. Hi, friends. Hi, friends.
Oh my god.
Do you have friends watching?
I do. Dillo's here.
Hello! I'm about to go to work.
Alrighty, have fun.
Buy your own.
Okay.
I chuckle with joy. Okay, bye bye.
Okay.
Okay, bye bye.
Okay, Papa. Actually, I can throw that out now.
Bing. Okay, bye bye.
Why? Cool. Cool. That'll take a while. While that is doing that, let's do a new thing. And this is just for me. Cool. Beautiful. Fixed PP. Beautiful. Fixed the PP. Let's check this out. I wish I could see like a video about it. Might be useful, but we don't really have AI. It's a lot of useful bits. Ooh. That's very cool. Never gonna be alone again. That's pretty cool. go. It's a bunch of spooky, scary stuff. Cool. Right. Set up game project. Done. Cool. I don't wanna sing anymore. All right.
Hello and welcome. In this lecture we're going to be implementing the observer pattern using Unity events, and if you haven't come across them before, we're going to do a brief overview of them and see how they fit the observer pattern. So let's start with an example to really understand how the observer pattern works in practice and what mechanisms we might use to implement it in Unity and C#. So here we're imagining that I have a game where you can level up. So you can get experience points. This is a level mono behavior here, a level component. And we've got experience is basically the only state of this class. The configuration is how quickly it gains experience over time. This is just a very simple little hack so that we don't actually have to implement any gameplay. Where in this method here, if you're not familiar with coroutines, this is a coroutine, and what it's doing is you can basically see it like this. It repeats, it loops around, it waits 0.2 seconds, and then it gains 10 experience. So it just keeps gaining 10 experience every 0.2 seconds. That's how it levels up. And the configuration here is the point per level. So this goes back to my point about not caching stuff. We don't have, you notice, a variable that tells you what level you are, because you can calculate that from experience points. So if we go down to the get level method, you can see that it's simply the experience points divided by the points per level. And because these are both integers, this ends up being an integer division. And if you have less than the points per level, you are level 0. Once you have, say, 200 points, you then are level 1. Until you have 400 points, then you're level 2, etc. Get experience is pretty straightforward. Gain experience, again, pretty straightforward. Getters and setters here, really. So this is a very basic class. Now, we've got a health component, and this health component kind of...
My girlfriend has sent me a text. Let's have a look at my co-star.
Has some little hacky logic here. Again, we've got this kind of health drain coroutine, and all this is doing, if you go and have a look at it, is it will drain the health down to 0 at whatever drains per second every second. So it just removes something from the health every second. So again, we've got this gameplay little test for us.
Cool.
And at the beginning, we reset the health, so the current health gets reset to the full health in Awake. So then we've got some getters, and we've got a reset health public method, which we might not want to be public in the long run. And then finally there's a debugger mono behavior, which simply every second is putting out the vital stats. It's logging the experience, get level, and get health. So if you run this, it really does not do very much. You can see in the sample scene here, we've got the observer example, and we've got particle system. If you go ahead and just play, the particle system doesn't run by default. It's been set up to not run on awake, and we've just got our log messages down here saying the experience as it goes up and up and up. You can see the level that's being calculated and printed here, that's working as I explained, and the health, which is just steadily decreasing and decreasing and decreasing. Now, suppose that in my game I wanted to implement a behavior where my health gets reset whenever I level up.
Yep.
Now, the naive way to do this, if you didn't know about the observer pattern, would be to go into level and say, okay, well, whenever I gain experience, I need to check whether I have leveled up. So before I gain the experience, I'm going to keep a note of what my level was. So I'll say that the level is equal to get level when I start off. So that's kind of made a copy of that initial level. And then after I've gained experience, I can simply say if the new level, so get level, is greater than level, then I can do whatever it was I wanted to do, which in this case would be to get components.
Ah, that's cheeky.
Health, and to call reset health on that. Obviously, this has created a link that doesn't really make sense. I mean, why should the level component know anything about health? This is a rule more about the health component. It's more that the health component wants to be reset when levels up. So instead of doing this, what you could do is remove all this logic from here. I'm just going to comment it out for a second because we will need this in a little while. And what you can do instead is you could go ahead and go over to health, and you could decide that we're going to reset health by polling. Polling basically being checking every frame. So we would go into here after awake, I'd add an update method. In this update method, first of all, I need to be keeping track of the current level to see whether I've leveled up. So for a start, I'm going to have to create a kind of extra piece of state in health to do with level, which is weird, but we'll get to that in a second. Then we're going to have the last, I'm going to call it last level, that piece of state, which I'm going to set to 0, but I'm actually going to initialize it in start. If we access other things, we shouldn't do it in awake, we should do it in start. So we're going to do a get component of type level dot get level. We're going to initialize last level to that value, and then in update what we're going to do is if last level is less than current level, and I need to get the current level into a variable, so let's do an int current level is equal to this same line here, get component level, get level. Notice I'm not caching this level component here, I'm just getting it each time. And then if we have increased, then we need to store a new last level first of all. So last level is equal to current level so that we don't go resetting every single frame, and then you can call reset health. This is complicated, and it is polling, which means that this is happening every single frame. We're having to check and get the other level and compare, even though we arguably could know. When we did it the other way, when we called it from level, that was much more efficient. It was just the dependencies were all wrong. So what we want to do is for us to be able to subscribe. This is a perfect example of the observer pattern. We've got something that we want to observe, the subject, which is level, and the observer is health, who wants to observe that level. So how can we do that? Well, one way that you can do this in Unity exclusively is using something called a Unity event. Now, I'm going to start with this because although it might not be the most obvious suggestion, it is quite easy to understand. So what you can do is you can create a serialized field that has the type Unity event.
You can.
And we can call it something like on level up.
Yeah.
And you don't have to give it any value at all. It automatically gets set up correctly by Unity. So on level up, now what we're going to do with on level up? Well, let's uncomment this code that we had in gain experience. And when we do level up, we can detect that on line 24 with that if statement. We can do on level up dot invoke. So you see that on level, the Unity event has this invoke functionality. Now, what that does is it essentially calls a notification on anybody who's listening to this Unity event. Now, how do we go and listen to the Unity event? Well, there's ways of doing it, but the obvious way is to do this in the inspectory. That's why I made it a serialized field. So I can go ahead and remove this start code and update code. We don't need that anymore. Let's get rid of that. We can get rid of the extra state that we included there as well. We don't need that. And then we head into Unity, let it recompile itself, and if you go to the observer example game object, then essentially what we can do is this level script now has this on level up section, and you can add items to this list of observers. And basically what that's going to do is everything in this list will get called when we level up. So for example, we've got a particle system here. You can link all sorts of gameplay events to this on level up event. So I can drag in my particle system game object into the object, the target object to run. And then with the function, I need to go ahead and select that I want to run a function on the particle system component. And then I need to go down to whichever function I want to run. In this case, it's going to be the play. And what we can do now is observe that if we go ahead and hit play, and we're gaining experience periodically, you should see the log messages down here. When we reach 200, you can see it played a particle effect to signal that I leveled up.
Yay!
Level up again,
But we need to do
plays a
health.
particle effect again. So every so often it's playing a particle effect in response to that Unity event. This is the observer pattern in action, except it's an observer pattern that isn't fully realized in code.
No.
It's configured using the Unity event. It's configured using the Unity editor. So here's a challenge for you to replenish the health using this Unity event.
That's easy.
That we have just created. Go ahead and add the Unity event and that code that I was writing in the first part of the lecture to the code that you can download as a resource against this lecture. Then add a Unity event callback, a new one. We've got one talking to the particle system. Add a new.
Okay. What do you mean? Yes. I see, it's a whole thing. Okay. Cool. I didn't want you anymore. Oh, we'll never be alone again. Gonna be a friend. Wait, now I thought about what I wanna say. Now I don't really know where to go. A friend. Friday 2 p.m. Okay. We've got a while yet. Okay, so we have our sample scene with the observer example. We need to add our functionality. So when we gain experience, we're gonna cache our level called getLevel, and then if getLevel is greater than level, then we want to invoke a Unity event called onLevelUp, and we onLevelUp invoke, and then in health, make sure we've got a public method called resetHealth. We set two things. One's the particle system where we press play. The other's the health script where we health reset health. And that should work. Beautiful. Hell yeah.
Observer example game object and call the reset health method. So pause the video and have a go into Unity, because we set up these Unity events there. We're going to add a new callback. We're going to drag the observer example as the game object target in here. Then we're going to go to select a function. You can see it showing us the components that are available on that game object. We need to find the health component. We need to go to the reset health, and there you go. We're now calling reset health when we level up. So if we go ahead and hit play, then you can see we're gaining experience, then we level up and our health goes back up to maximum. So we're constantly draining the health, but it also gets reset every time we level up. Great
Wonderful.
stuff. So that shows us how the observer pattern can be implemented using Unity events. In the next lecture, we're going to look at how we can implement it using delegates and actions using pure C#.
Beautiful. We're going to leave it there for right now. I'm going to go shower and start my day properly. But that was a lovely little start. I'll see you guys in about an hour or so. Bye.